I recently came across this absolutely amazing article that talked about how your phone should be a tool for you and not own your entire life. But given most people's screen times being, way over 3.5 hours, I think it suffices to say that our phones definitely do control us. So I really wanted a more minimal phone setup, and I want to think of my phone almost as like a calculator. It's like a tool that I grab when I need to do something intentional, rather than just grabbing it out of that anxiety-ridden, badge notification from Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and it's just so unhealthy. And I really began to realize how much time I was spending on my phone after I started this YouTube channel and after I started the TikTok a couple of months ago. So let's go through my minimal iPhone 11 setup for 2021 and just go through that whole decluttering process, because this article really changed the way I think about phones, and I think it'll change the way you think about phones too. I'll go through all of the things that I did with my phone. The first thing I did was just change my background. First of all, something that's a very neutral, calming wallpaper. I used to have a picture of me and my brother as the lock screen and my parents as my home screen. Of course, I still love my brother and I love my parents, but it just cluttered everything up because my phone doesn't represent who I am. It's just a tool, and I want it to be very neutral. So I changed that up, and the biggest thing I changed was the way I organized all of my apps. In the phone, first I deleted all of the unnecessary apps, and I created specific folders on my phone. So I have hangry, distractions, which is social media, transportation, and just everything is organized in a very clear, cohesive way. And it looks like there's only one app, but once you swipe, it's all of the apps. And it's just a way to ensure that you're not drawn to all of those little icons. It's just so much anxiety looking at a screen filled with those kinds of apps. So I kept all of the apps that I wanted, but I organized it in a more clear and cohesive way. So when I grab my phone, rather than searching for the apps on the screen, I'm just gonna swipe down and write in the app and just be more intentional about it. And I've personally seen such a huge, massive shift in the way I use my phone in just the first 10 days of having employed that tactic. Your first screen is going to be the most useful apps, and these have to be more productivity-based apps or things that actually increase your quality of life. It can't be social media. I genuinely implore you to be more conscious about social media, and we're going to go into a lot of points about how to remove the anxiety that we all attach to our phones. Think of the apps that really genuinely are important to you. On my screen, I have a little shortcut where it says call my mom, because I call my mom twice a day, and I really don't need to open the phone app. That was one little thing that made me a bit more productive, as well as opening up Headspace. And I created a little shortcut to make it prettier, but I don't think you would need to create shortcuts for all of your apps. I think using the folder method for screen 2 and having minimal productive apps that you always reach for in screen 1 is the way to go. After you organize your general aesthetic, I am telling you, remove badge notifications. That little red dot that pops up with a number of notifications you have for that app, it is absolutely horrible. It increases anxiety. And the way the article described it is that these notifications are constantly like slot machines. They keep you coming back for more, and it is so unhealthy. And we know that, but we keep doing it anyways. And all of the apps are enticing you to go back to that app so that somehow the creator of the app can get monetized. And usually it's advertising, which is bad for your wallet and also bad for the goals that you actually have, because every time you see a notification, you stop what you're currently intentionally doing to look at that notification, whether it pops up on your lock screen or as a banner. And then it's a constant reminder with that badge notification. So just take badges out for every single app unless it's absolutely mandatorily important that you need it. And it's really interesting. In the article, they go into how notifications lead to a stunted life because the brain requires active focus to trigger myelin growth around neural pathways. So you're not gonna actually retain any information or gain anything from what you're currently doing if you are constantly bombarded by those notifications. And if you keep interrupting the intentional process of what you're doing now, you're never going to achieve your goal in a timely manner. Even if it is micro anxiety moments, those all add up to give you a not so great quality of life. And I personally feel so much better just not seeing that on my phone. Like, my phone really does feel like a tool now, and I have a much healthier relationship with it. The next thing you want to do, just for productivity reasons, is to ensure that your widgets are set up in a way where it includes screen time. Make sure screen time is one of your widgets, just so you know how many hours actively you're spending on that phone. It's really important to have that, and any other widgets that you think might be helpful. I have a picture up top because I love seeing the memories, and it feels like a good personal way to add to my phone. Rather than having my family as my background, I have them in that little widget. And I also include the weather because I go running almost every day, or walks, and I just want to know what the weather is, and I'm constantly looking for that. So that's something that's important to me. So you want to add widgets, ones that you constantly grab your phone for. Just have everything on that screen so that you're not wasting too much time scrolling around. And something that's really going to benefit you is setting night mode on. I think it's really important to make sure that your phone is not ridden with blue light at night, because there are several studies that show that that might harm your sleep patterns. And I actually track everything on my Garmin watch, and it's super cool. I'll actually show you the app right now. You want to make sure you have a well-rested night. For quality of life, change it so that your phone becomes as warm as possible 3 hours, probably around 3 to 4 hours before bedtime, or honestly any time after 6 p.m. Another quick tip that I found very, very useful from this article was changing Siri. So I never honestly used Siri too much to my advantage, but now I use Siri a lot to set timers for the Pomodoro method, or anytime I'm trying to study for a prolonged period of time, I set Siri for 45 minutes. Figuring out how to use Siri so that it can make your scrolling and swiping process on your phone minimal and maybe go away in certain cases, that would be great. Also, the article talks about how you should change Siri to a man, because the reason Siri is set to a woman is because it's very easy for people to react to bossy women. It's so weird and it's very misogynistic. And after I read the theory behind it and why Siri, Alexa, all of these are women, because women nag you around or they're meant to serve you, I just changed Siri to a man. And I think it's just a psychological thing at this point. At least for me, when I read that, I was like, that's really messed up. And I read cases where people were actually pretty abusive to Siri. Like, they just kept getting more and more annoyed every time Siri did something wrong or didn't hear you properly, and I just didn't like that, so I changed Siri up. But that's really up to you. But I'm including the article down below, of course, so that you can read up on everything in it. The last point is just potentially adding text replacements. I'm always asked about, like, college essay editing and things like that. So I'm gonna start working on text replacement so I don't have to rewrite the same things over and over again when I get messages, but also just your email and home address, adding that as a text replacement or whatever you generally say to people. I think it's gonna save you a lot of time in the process. Honestly, I just wanted to share this with you guys because I think digital minimalism is something that you want to do more often than not, because we're in an increasingly technological era where I'm also a data scientist, and I realize what I do for work is kind of going against digital minimalism because my company makes money off of advertising, as does every tech company. I hope this video plays a small part in helping you make your phone a tool and make the most of it in a positive way, rather than your phone kind of taking over your life. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel if you found value in anything so far and want to keep up with my videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys at my next video.